One thing that has not happened since you've been gone, the Braves winning their first game of the season. So that's a problem. They also lost Jurickson Profar for half the season to a PED suspension. And then yesterday, we learned that Reynaldo Lopez has to get a little procedure done. So what is the panic meter at in Braves country?
It should be pretty high. Listen, I was on the 2016 team. We lost the first 9 games, I believe, and we started 0-9. So I feel like they're not going to be that bad. This team is way better than we were in 2016. So, but listen, there's an old saying in baseball: you can't win the pennant in April, but you can lose it. And they had some bad news come their way. I mean, the guy who lost the game on the first day was DFA'd, Hector Neris. One of their all-star starting pitchers is out for who knows how long in Reynaldo Lopez. And their big offseason acquisition was suspended for 80 games for taking steroids. So this was rough. We won 68 games in 2016. They're not going to be that bad. The biggest thing for me on that whole thing, 1 for 34 with runners in scoring position. I did their game on Saturday. At the time, they were like 1 for 21-ish, but now they're up to 1 for 34. If you're 1 for 34, you ain't going to win hardly any games. You're relying too much on homers, and they're not. They're in San Diego and LA are tough places to hit homers. So I think that they're going to be better, but they're not going to be this bad. But it's going to be a struggle.
Somebody's going to have to step up. The biggest thing when you lose that big of a piece of your starting rotation, somebody has to step up. Obviously, we saw what Schwellenbach did 2 years ago. We saw what Bryce Elder did. Like, the Braves have a knack for figuring out pitching coming out of nowhere, or in a sense of like prospects, like just being ready to come up to the big leagues. Everybody hits bumps in the road, different guys. They got rid of Ian Anderson already. They traded him. And, you thought for the last few years, he'd be a guy that would come up and step in. The Braves always do it. They figure out how to take care of their pitching. How do you take care of 1 for 34 with runners in scoring position? Easy. You wash your cleats. You come in, you play another game. That's the beauty of baseball. It's also the sucky part of baseball. You're 0-6. You're like, man, we could use like maybe 2 off days. When you're 7-0, you're like, let's play 13 more in a row. Like, it's one of those things you just got to get back out there as an offense and believe in who they are. This lineup has very few holes in it, and yet right now, everybody's a hole. So you know what? Water level's out. They're going to get better.
By the way, in 1988, they started 0-10. I had a family member who was in college at the time, refused to go to class until they won that year. So he went 10 days without going to class just because he was such a Braves fan. And he's like, I'm going to support my team. And his family wasn't very happy because they were thinking like, you're going to fail out of school. But they finally won, so he got to go back to class. Now he has a nice job.
Maybe that tradition will be passed on.
Yeah. 0-9 was rough. Listen, we were 0-9. It was everything tasted bad. The food tasted bad. The beer tasted bad. The road trips tasted bad. The home games tasted bad. Everything. I mean, you start 0-9. It was that's what led to Brian Snitker being the manager. He was fired, or Freddie Gonzalez was fired that year, and then they went on to hire Brian Snitker, who went on to lead them to a World Series. So I don't think Brian Snitker is getting fired anytime soon, but they need to try something, and I don't know what it is because Murphy's coming back, I know, but man, it just losing Profar and losing Lopez in the same 24 hours is rough, man.
Did you know you were bad? Did you know? Because every spring training,
but no, we knew we were bad.
You knew?
We knew, yeah, because I was on the team the year before, and we were good, and then we were 49-49 or something, 41-41. It was like right at the halfway point. We went to Colorado, and we traded away everybody. And we were actually ahead of the Mets that year, and they went to the World Series. The Mets traded and got Kelly Johnson, who was on our team, and went out and got some trades. We even traded everybody away. We ended up losing, I don't know how many games. But, yeah, we going into 2016, we're like, we're not going to be very good. They knew it because they were building for the next year for Truist. They had Fried and Acuna and Riley and all these guys coming in the minor leagues. But, yeah, we knew we weren't going to be very good.
I want to run through Scott Coleman's tweet. Our Hammer Territory host, he said, need to clear up one thing I've heard from multiple sources connected to the team. It's pretty obvious Alex Anthopoulos got his hands tied by ownership this winter. They screwed him. You could argue he could have tried to make trades, but then you deplete the farm even more. They did acquire Jurickson Profar about a month ago, AJ, for 3 years. And what was it, 42 or 45? 42 mil. So that was a decent level signing that I guess could have been utilized on pitching, but they also felt like they needed another bat, another outfield guy, another on base guy, also another guy to hold down the offense and make it look really strong while Ronald Acuna Jr. returns. He's going to miss half the year, and we don't know what version of him we'll get when he returns.
No, nobody knows. Hopefully he'll be fully healthy. He's been through this before, so hopefully he'll be fully healthy. But listen, as a Braves fan growing up, and still root for the Braves because a lot of people, Chris Sale, Brian Snicker, a lot of the guys that are there, Eddie Perez, and a lot of the people behind the scenes that no one's ever heard of that I know very well. It pains me to see the Braves off to a start like this, but also the schedule makers didn't do them any favors. You got to start in San Diego and LA. Like, I don't know if any team could survive that, especially the way San Diego is playing right now and the way how good the Dodgers are. That's a rough start from a team coming from Florida, have to go to the West Coast. That's rough. I know we're showing their batting averages, but I mean, I like Drake Baldwin. I like what I saw out of him. I mean, the top 4 are going to be fine. Top 5 once they get going. This is not a bad team, so let's not hit the panic button. But they're struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
At least they don't have Rafi Devers in the lineup, right? I mean, imagine if they had him, how much panic would be.
We'll get to that. But it's the only winless team right now. And I was on an Atlanta radio show last week, and I was like, hey, if you come home 2-5, who cares? This is a brutal gauntlet road trip. Well, now they're just trying to pull off one dub, Kratz, but how much credit should go the other way? I mean, Chris Sale pitched pretty well until his last inning. He got knocked a little by Mookie Betts, and then they added another run with Will Smith poking one through. But the Dodgers are damn good. The Padres haven't lost yet either. We'll talk about both of those teams later in the show. These could be 2 of the top 5 teams in baseball. Dodgers, everybody knew, and also they're going to be firing on all cylinders right now, coming off a World Series title, plus the acquisitions they made, the big offseason they had. Everybody's pretty much healthy right now of the big people. I know Freddie's out day to day. Mookie was on his way back after missing the first 2 games, although it looks like the 10 pounds that he's off right now still doesn't make a difference because he's a power machine. The Padres look like they were underrated. I know it's early. We're going to overreact, but a week into the season, the Padres look damn good. They look like they're going to be a problem.
I don't know how they were underrated. I think everybody had them as a top 5 team in baseball. I think they were.
No, don't go there.
No.
Absolutely.
On this
do
show?
not go there. I put them in my power rankings at like number 6. I'll check back for exacts. And I was the leader at looking there. And tons of people, first of all, when I posted it on YouTube, were like, this is trash. Did you see their offseason? I'm like, yeah, I saw their offseason, but they're also still keeping most of their core together. And guys like Merrill are going to get better, who obviously just got paid. Again, we'll get to that later. A lot of people were down on the Padres. A lot of people were like, really? After that offseason? I'm like, okay, I get it. They lost a few players. They also picked up a player or 2. I mean, Nick Pivetta looked freaking money the other day. He joins a different team, changes scenery. He's always had this stuff. Maybe that all comes together for him. Cease, I've said for a while now, is a 1. Michael King is, for the most part, a 1 and looked really good yesterday. No, people were not down on them, Kratz. Not saying that they were going to be a bad team, but I don't think there were a lot of people putting them in their top 5 power rankings.
Okay. I don't think we knew what they had in that bullpen. I think that bullpen has given up a run since the first game of the season. I need to look back at that, but I mean, they just churn out bullpen pieces that are just handling this. I think Michael King went 2 2/3 in his first game, and the bullpen kept him in the game. This team, ever since the start of last year, and even some people could say probably like the last 20 games of the 23 season, they've started to play as a team in the sense of like having team at bats. They don't strike out. Collectively, they don't strike out very much. So they're putting together a really nice run to start the season, and the bullpen is one of the huge reasons. Obviously, Pivetta was dominant second time through. Michael King was dominant. So they have the pieces. Will they hold up? Who knows? To me, their lineup will hold up because every one of those dudes is athletic. You're not sitting there going, oh, I guess besides like a Gavin Sheets who's leading the team in hitting, everybody's versatile. Everybody played shortstop at one point. Now they're playing other positions, and so they know how to hold up and they know how to play together. There's some kind of value about teams who have the same lineup day in and day out. Most of these guys have all hit together for the last two and a half years, whenever a rise came. So not in 2.5 years. Last season, they've been hitting together, and they play essentially the same lineup back to back to back.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, let's say this about the Padres. I had them at 8 in my power rankings because I still don't trust their starting pitching. I'm sorry, I don't. Darvish is out. Who knows for how long? Listen, I mean, I saw Randy Vasquez pitch. I mean, are we sold on him being a third starter? He did pitch, but he pitched against the Braves, who can't get a hit with runners in scoring position. So do we trust what we've seen from them? The Guardians don't have the most prolific offense in baseball. They started at home against two teams that aren't swinging the bat very well. So do we trust them for 162 games? That's the question. And we do our power rankings in 4 months. We can maybe change where they're at.
That's why power rankings change so quickly.
I had him 6 power rankings.
He does. He talks about him every day. I had them 6 on my list. Kratz did not have them top 10, and I don't think most other people did either. Would you have them 11?
Definitely 11.
Oh yeah, of course you did. Lastly, here on Lopez, so he's going to miss significant time regardless. I think there's still a chance that he is out for the season. So it's arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder to determine if he has any structural damage. Expected to miss at least a couple of months. Even if there's no structural damage, he's sidelined through at least the season's first half. There's a chance that they do find damage and he's out for the entire year. AJ, he was money for them last year, right? He's the guy that has always had good stuff. He was in the bullpen for a minute. Of course, he spent some time with the Nats, with the White Sox, part of a big trade, and lands with the Braves. They say, we're just going to let you eat, be a starter, win that spot and go. He does. He was great, but a little bit late. But also, he hadn't done this in, 3 years, I want to say. So here we go. Became somewhat of a workhorse for them in modern terms. And then now he's dealing with this injury, and they're just not built to be able to withstand too many of these, right? I mean, yes, guys come out of the woodwork for them pitching-wise in the minor leagues, but it's not workhorse city in that rotation.
No, I agreed. But this is a huge injury. Listen, anytime you get into the shoulder, Kratz will tell you, once you start digging into a shoulder on a pitcher, that's bad news, man. Especially if they're just doing a scope to see what's wrong with it. That means he's got some serious pain in there in order to do a scope. Because if they can't find it on an MRI or something else, and if they got to go in there and clean up the labrum or, God forbid, a rotator cuff, it's going to be it's bad. It's bad news for Reynaldo Lopez and the Braves. Now, do they have – listen, Schwellenbach's going to be is a stud. Can Chris Sale stay healthy? Smith-Shriver pitched well. We'll see how the Braves hold up through this. It's going to be interesting, but they need some depth, and I don't know where they're going to find it right now.
I'm a big proponent of letting dudes throw, and I love that they let him throw. He spent a little time on the IL last year. I just hope that other teams don't look at it and say, oh, converted guy, hadn't started since 2019. Now he starts for us. Oh, and look what happened to Reynaldo Lopez. Because it was a prime case of why Clay Holmes got picked or became a starter. They wanted Jeff Hoffman to become a starter. Like, there's value in that, surplus value, as Scott loves to say. But I hope it doesn't deter other teams from doing it, meaning like, oh, man, well, this is why he got hurt. To me, Reynaldo Lopez was legit last year, and I think other guys can also do this.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.